Hello, my name is Retief Miller. I'm the director of the Nagel Institute for the Study of World Christianity at Calvin University in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I'm currently involved in a project called Engaging African Realities, integrating social science within African theology. And there I'm co-director together with Professor Afe Adugame at Princeton Theological Seminary. Professor Afe Adugame is also the chair of the project. And I'm also working with my colleague at Nagel, Nelly Koistra, and a number of other people who are involved in this project. Professor Adugame in his lecture or in his talk on this gave a good introduction, so I'm not going to repeat what he said. Let me instead focus on a few other aspects, like, for example, the historical connection between this project that we're doing and some of the earlier Nagel projects also focusing on African theology and African religion and so forth. And the main point I would like to convey here is that this is part of a series of projects involving African theology and also the social realities of Africa. So the John Templeton Foundation sponsored a much earlier project already in this series called Christianity and Social Change in Contemporary Africa. And that's really where things started. But even prior to that project, there was like a pilot project that was done, and I'm just holding up what came out of this called Engaging Africa, and that was interested in the prospects of project funding in selected fields in African Christianity and African religion. The Templeton Foundations are interested in science-engaged theology, and this is what we are also interested in. So we find that there's a nice overlap, and we've been able to collaborate with their aims and have projects sponsored by them, including this current one. So the current one is sponsored by the Templeton Religion Trust, and just before this project, there was another one called African Theological Advance, ATA for short, and that one had 16 sub-grantees. Eventually, due to unforeseen circumstances, that was diminished, and only 15 of those completed. But the 15 final projects did extremely interesting and important work on engaging contemporary African realities theologically, but also with scientific interdisciplinary foci. Many of those projects looked at things like healing in Africa and the role of religion within that. Others were interested in interfaith issues. Some were interested in the question of peacekeeping, dwelling on some of the more problematic aspects of African reality, like xenophobia and migration and so forth. And of course, this was all before the era of COVID. But a lot of those, or at least all of those finished projects that were finished from that African Theological Advance were published in different ways. And one of the ways in which it was published was in this. This is the first batch of articles in the International Bulletin of Mission Research. And then there will be a second edition of this coming out next year for those of you interested. And in addition to these publications, a lot of the resources and work done by our alumni, if we put it like that, feature on our website, which you can find at nagelinstitute.org. So if you go to that website and you look for resources, you'll find a lot of information and publications and videos, and we're constructing podcasts, etc. And so there's a wide network of African scholars that benefited in different ways through these projects, and we are in the process of expanding on that network. Ultimately, for the Nagel Institute, our aim is to connect scholars worldwide. And we want to see the work of these earlier scholars influence the ones in our current projects in important ways. We want them to mentor each other, learn from each other. And then also we'd like to broadcast the really important insights from the research to the wider world, and hope to bring Africa in conversation with the West, for example, but also with other parts of the world. We believe in an interconnected world despite the challenges of COVID, and we want to make sure that African theology earns its rightful place in terms of the worldwide theological discussion. I think that's it for me. Thank you.